Mrs. Anderson in the library here with the first chapter Friday. Today's book is called The Outsmarters by Deborah Ellis. This is a realistic fiction story published in 2024. It's an emotional, inspirational story about 12-year-old Kate, whose mother unexpectedly dumps her at her grandmother's house to live with her grandmother. And she's devastated when her mother does this. Her grandmother is not easy to live with. She's cantankerous. She runs a junk store, and Kate has some issues with her. Kate is resilient. She is spunky, and she starts to use junk from her grandmother's store to start her own business. Initially, Kate finds it hard to deal with the customers in her business because she has anger management issues, she distrusts people, understandably, and she has a fear that people dislike her. But over time she learns about herself, and she also learns that there have been lies that her grandmother has told her about her mother. So over time Kate's life and her attitude does change. So The Outsmarters by Deborah Ellis, Chapter 1. I don't owe you a dime. Old Mrs. Corman tries to close her front door, but my foot is in the way. You owe me for 3 hours of yard work, I tell her. You promised to pay me this time. I did not. You're just like your mother, always trying to get me to pay for Girl Guide cookies I didn't order. And you're just like your horrible grandmother. Edna calls herself Ed, not a normal one in the whole bunch. Well, you live in junk, you are junk. She stomps her cane on my sneaker. I yank back my foot and she slams the door in my face. She acts all frail, but she can slam. I stare at the closed door and I start to shake. Every cell in my body wants to tear her house apart. I want to shred her screens with my fingernails and tip up her welcome mat with my teeth. I want to smash her windows and shatter her light bulbs. Old Lady Corman is lucky I've learned to control my temper. I make my brain make my legs step away. I plunk down on her top porch step and breathe deep. In and out. In and out. In and out. I uncurl my fists and open my palms to the summer air. My nerves stop twitching. I look out at Mrs. Corman's fresh-mown lawn and the cleaned-out gardens with the trimmed edges and at the sacks full of her yard waste. I'm looking at 3 hours of work, my whole morning. It would serve Mrs. Corman right if I just open all those sacks and dump those weeds and leaves back out on her yard. But that would just mess up my good work, and it wouldn't help me get paid. I was supposed to get counselling after I was suspended from school, but the waiting list is almost a year. Gran and I looked in the book room at the junkyard and found an anger management book from the 1970s called Get Back to Groovy. Groovy means our natural state of happiness. Whatever, the deep breathing thing works. I flash a peace sign like the book says to show the world that my bad vibes are gone, and I leave the porch feeling not full groovy, but calmer. I load the sacks of yard waste into the push-pull cart Gran made me when I started my yard cleaning business. The cart has a big garbage can on a frame with wheels. There are clamps to hold my tools. The neighborhood where we live and where Gran lets me work is in one of the oldest parts of town. The sidewalks are lopsided with tree roots. Every time my cart goes over a bump, sacks of weeds tumble to the ground. It doesn't help my mood. All right, I'm going to stop there. If you'd like to find out more about Kate's journey, what she finds out about her family, and what she finds out about herself, come check out The Outsmarters by Deborah Ellis.